One thing that wasn't mentioned while Katie gets set up, dude should have been held accountable for the signal chat that happened like within
and
the
there
first
wasn't just one, there was a couple.
There was two, maybe 3, 4 of them. You know, I would say two big ones that we saw. We don't know about what we didn't see. That should have been the first fucking been like, nah, bitch, you gotta go. Because you over here on a drug dealer app talking about war plans. And I think that bombing might have been fucking illegal. Shit.
It's not might. It is. Because
Right.
if an enemy has clearly surrendered, my husband and I were talking about this. If an enemy has clearly surrendered or is not incapacitated to fight back, it is literally illegal and a war crime.
So I don't know why we acting all flabbergasted now when we could have been addressed this a long time ago. I'm so fucking sick of this shit. All right, keep going.
Oh, this part was hilarious.
Meanwhile, Hegseth is scouting the town and gives a line that also competes for the funniest of the episode.
Holy shit, we've got an Antifa uprising!
He tells his soldiers that the town is starting an insurrection, but nothing is going to stop them from getting Peter Thiel back. Cartman shows up at Token's house to confront him about dropping out of the race. Token is playing Arc Raiders. I've seen this game all over.
Oh, definitely skip that. He talks about Arc Raiders for quite a bit. Nerd! Just kidding. Thank you for your work, sir.
Fired! Shots fired!
Hegseth goes into full content mode, saying they're under attack by liberal terrorists. He starts giving orders on how they're going to stop this woke liberal mob, but he makes sure to emphasize that it's about getting content.
I want you posting on Instagram and Twitter.
Homeland Security shows up, led by the beautiful Christy Gnome, to come support the Department of War. Instead of working together and making plans, they just fight over whose content this is. Cartman has managed to lure Token to the...
Oh my god. Oh, I love this. Oh, she also shoots another dog in the scene. I don't know if you guys saw that. I thought that was hilarious. Because I kind of forgot they had that running thing. But, yeah, let's just close this little recap out. And then we'll get
everyone at the race. The best cover of Danger Zone I've ever heard, and also the only one. But this song's going to be stuck in my head for at least a few weeks. Yates then confronts him, and Hegseth puts up his tough guy act. Throughout this entire episode, Yates and Mitch look at him as a complete joke, making the most incompetent police officers ever just assert dominance over him throughout this episode was a power move by Matt and Trey. Token eventually finds Cartman.
Okay, so if you haven't seen the other plot lines in the story, we're not going to go too much into them.
Did you see how he fucking went after Mark Kelly and was like, oh, I saw all those medals on his uniform and it doesn't mean anything. He's not a real real veteran or whatever. This is coming from Pete Hegseth, who literally was taken off of duty, like to go overseas because he has Christian nationalist tattoos.
He is so embarrassing.
That's why they tried to make that order a while ago.
Fucking douche. That shit was stuck in my head for like 2 days after I watched that first episode.
So I watched that episode in my parents' house, and my dad's like, "Why do I know that song?" I'm like, "Oh."
But yeah, so that was just a little fun before we really get into this guy. But I really wanted to really stick in how stupid this man is and how unqualified and like incapable he was to even have this job. And the fact that we even have to talk about him is insane to me. I didn't know who he was until he got this job. You know what I mean? I had no idea, and I didn't care to know who the fuck he was. He could have easily done whatever the fuck he was doing, being a closeted drunkard on Fox News, and that would have been fine with me. But no, he wanted to be the Department of Defense and changing names and insulting real generals and sending drug dealer app text about with war plans all over it, and just the worst type of things that imaginable as someone of with holding the security of this country in our hands. Like we are sitting ducks. Like we are in real dangerous water. We have been since that Yemen thing, since the Signal Gate thing happened because people are like, we can't send our information out to these fucking idiots in America. Like, we can't send intelligence to them. They just gonna send it out on the damn, leave it in the bathroom and shit.
Yep. Leave it by the toilet.
Yeah. I like that. All right, let's get into our next.
And here's Aaron Parnas again.
Thank you.
We have major news right now. A large group of former military lawyers have concluded that Pete Hegseth and anyone under him who took part in the illegal strikes in the Southern Caribbean have likely committed war crimes, murder, or both. War crimes if we are technically in an international armed conflict with these cartels. If we're not, then lawfully it's murder under federal law and under military law. And Pete Hegseth and anyone who executed the orders that were, quote, patently illegal could face criminal charges. A new statement issued by Just Security has a group of former JAG officers who created a group following Pete Hegseth's firing of multiple JAG officers earlier this year, have concluded that Hegseth's orders violate international law, violate American law, and that anyone should and could be prosecuted for murder, war crimes, or even both. Spread the word. Follow along, stay up to date on all the news that you need to know about. More to come very soon, so stay tuned for more.
Thanks, Aaron. You've been holding up the show, buddy.
You don't fuck with military lawyers, dude.
No. What does JAG stand for? Do you know? I haven't been lazy. Let me look it up.
What does JAG stand for?
Yeah, Katie on it.
Judge Advocate General. The legal branch of a country's armed forces.
Okay. That's helpful.
JAG is literally military lawyers.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
So, Thank you. If there's people in the military that you don't want to fuck with, it's them.
Oh, for sure. All right, so on this next one, we're gonna run this one a little bit longer because we get some I actually ran into this today. Ended up kind of changing out the whole doc, making it easier on Katie, because I thought that this interview with Don Lemon, with the man in this interview was really, really good. So let's go ahead and tap into this one, you guys.
I like the dance to
I want to begin with an interview that really stopped me in my tracks, because it's not every day that you hear a retired commanding general of the United States Army speak the way that General Mark Hertling spoke. It was a fascinating interview. And when a man like that chooses his words carefully, when he slows down, when he takes a moment, takes the time, and he lifts his eyebrows, just a little. If you watch him, he's a very moderated guy all the time, but he was particularly moderated on this interview when he says that what happened, he believes, in September on those boats in Venezuela and in the waters there, that it was illegal, that it was immoral, that it is dangerous. You see the weight of his career behind him and a career behind it. And you see a man who has commanded soldiers in life and death situations. He even talks, in this interview about some of the situations that he's been in. A man who has taught the law of armed conflict, and a man who understands not just what war is, but what war requires. Here's General Hertling.
Not a lawyer, but I will tell you that if a senior official urged someone else, a military person, to conduct such a strike, then we are morally bound to ask additional questions that any democracy should be asking. Were these unlawful orders? It appears they were. Were they issued or were they implied? We don't know that. That's part of an investigation. Did the service member feel pressured to act unlawfully? We don't know that either. Were there the attempts to suppress the supporting? Was additional guidance provided? These aren't political questions, Joe. These are constitutional ones, legal ones, and moral injury ones.
And you hear something there, and he said that they were illegal.
Go ahead and pause there.
He said something in there that this country is not used to hearing on national television.
Can you pause it? Oh, sorry. I couldn't tell if you could hear me or not.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's all good. He says moral injury. And that's something that I never really thought about, but I felt before I really it was articulated in that way to me. Like, people are accidentally doing immoral shit. And once you cross that line and murder somebody,
That's something you can come back from.
you can't come back from that shit. And that's really damaging to people. And I think that's super important. And but of course we don't care about anybody else and how people feel and how just that can affect, people. And so that's why I think that this military kind of law and order is put in place to protect not only, everybody else, but to protect the soldiers that are having to carry out these things, because these aren't easy things to do. And to accidentally do something out of like somebody else's evil heart, is really fucked up. And I never thought about it that way. And so I just really hope people think about that a little bit differently. You know what I mean?
Something that my cousin brought up at Thanksgiving was actually a really good point, because we did get onto the conversation about, well, what is and what isn't an unlawful order.
Mm-hmm.
And he had said that, people of his, I don't remember what his rank was in the military, but he said that those especially that are on the ground fighting, they don't have like if they're getting like shot at or stuff is happening, like it's not their place to think like, hey, is this an unlawful order? Like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, follow whatever your sergeant, or I don't know military terms, like whoever's above you is telling you. So it is their place to say this is or isn't unlawful, because it's not just putting so many lives at risk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. And yeah, you could get hurt, your people could get hurt, and so you have to have that trust that your leader isn't going to just like bark some order at you in the middle of some shit, and you know what I mean? So that trust, even just starting from the top, is so important. And they don't have that security that these people are gonna just tell them to do some old bullshit. And
Jazzy brings up a good point. Fear of retaliation too.
yeah, well, either way, you're getting retaliation. Just because it doesn't happen immediately doesn't mean that your ass isn't going to jail for some illegal shit, for murder. Okay, I'm just letting you know that right now. I need for people to stop thinking about the shit that's happening right in front of them and thinking about the long-term effects of shit. If we keep going down this fucking road, like, okay, you got retaliated against now, but you didn't do illegal shit. But down the line, when this is all said and done, and you did some illegal shit, war crime, criminal type shit, you're really gonna get it retaliated against. So that argument is bullshit to me. Don't be fucking stupid. I know that's a hard ass nowadays.
Wait a minute.
Hear a general say out loud that the Secretary of Defense, when he says it appears, issued an unlawful order. Listen to it.
Soldiers or anyone who is asked to pull a trigger in this kind of situation not only does it illegally based on what they've been taught, but that also creates, and the reason we have these rules is to avoid moral injury for those individuals.
Okay, Jazzy.
So let me tell you why that matters. And it matters a lot. He's speaking the truth here. He and Senator Mark Kelly, I believe, are speaking the truth, are the clearest voices in this moment that speak from just a sense of knowing, having been there. General Hertling is not a partisan pundit. He's not a blowtorch on social media. As I said, he's a very moderated man. He's a grown-up. He's an adult. He's one of the most respected voices on military ethics in America. And when he was asked about the Washington Post reporting that Pete Hegseth ordered the U.S. force to kill everybody on a civilian vessel, including survivors clinging to wreckage, he didn't hesitate. He said, if you want to say the quiet part out loud, he just said it out loud, that it was an illegal order. And it looks like it was. He said that every service member is trained to refuse illegal orders. Listen.
The reason we have these rules is to avoid moral injury for those individuals. And doing any of this along with some of the other things that we have watched happen. The Secretary of Defense disparaging legal oversight, sidelining JAG officers, eliminating the press to report on such actions, or treat accountability for such actions as the enemy. They do more than risk unlawful actions. They weaken the moral foundation that makes our military so great.
And that's what's happening right now. In this interview, he also hearkened back to all of those senior military officials and generals and such being summoned to Washington, to the Pentagon, and then being told that they, had to change what they were doing because I guess the Hegseth rule, the Trump rule, they want them to behave a certain way, which may be unconstitutional, which would possibly go against the military code of justice. General Hertling said that there's no ambiguity here, that there is no interpretation gap, that there is no gray zone, that it is illegal. And he's saying this is where the moral fabric of the United States military was being stressed and tattered and torn because of the leadership of Pete Hegseth. So Pete Hegseth is not only responsible, Donald Trump is responsible even more so because he put someone who's unqualified in this position.
Yeah, this is just, there's still some timestamps left, but I think that he got the point across pretty well, unless there's something I'm missing. You're muted.
There's one more where the Hertling speaks, I think.
Okay.
And General Hertling said something.
Shoot, sorry. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
That abandons abiding by these kinds of laws, Geneva Conventions, law of land warfare, they cease to be American. And a military that fails to investigate serious allegations of this kind of conflicts invites tragedy at the strategic, the moral, and the human domain.
So that's not a cable news soundbite right there. That is a warning from someone who has seen what happens when guardrails break. And we're at a guardrail breaking moment. This is a glass breaking moment. I can't tell you how serious this is. Everyone should be paying attention to this. It's not a...
Okay.
I get it. Yeah. No, that's what I was trying to... that's just crazy.
The glass is already broken.
Yeah,
At this point, the glass has been broken for a while, and they're literally just throwing it at people.
Yeah, I'm tired of people talking about, oh, we're almost there, or this is where we're headed. I'm like, bitch, I don't know. You can check that Trump tracker. We had 1901 as of yesterday. That's what it said last time I checked. We passed over
that, Jazzy.
So I'm pretty sure the glass has been broken. Why are we talking about this shit like we ain't in it? Like shit in it. It's almost gonna be a full year.
Well, to you,
it got back.
You ever notice when you're like, oh, excuse me. You ever notice when you're watching movies and there's a movie where it's about a country that has a dictatorship, and you're watching a movie and you're watching something like the news on TV, and you say to yourself, how can people not realize what they're in? That's where we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 I'm tired of us talking about this shit like it's in some distant future or we're headed towards it or acting like it's in the past or we need to address the situation with reality. You know what I mean? Talking, because even just that type of thing of saying oh, we're headed, the guardrails are going to be broken. Even that is almost damaging in a way because it's it keeps people from acting accordingly. You know what I mean? I still have time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people are procrastinators. They still think there's time to spare.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what it is. And yes, we did see that fucked up Franklin. I don't know who the fuck drug Franklin out of the fucking 90s, but that ain't cool. Leave our 90s fucking cartoons the fuck alone. They tried that shit with Pokemon. I'm sure they got up in their asshole for that. That Franklin, come on now. Really? Like, they really.
Jazzy. There are too many distractions to keep
Mhm.
us focused, because I know for me, like, I like to use technology for certain things, and like, so I'm a pit musician, so I'll use technology to like play my music on it. But since I've been doing Rent and directing Rent, I tried having like electronics on for a while, and then I literally went back to like the original of like post-its and notebooks and writing stuff down, because there comes a point with electronics and stuff that it becomes too distracting, and it gives you like a crutch that you don't need.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yeah, but also now we've gotten so far into the point where we need it to even get the news that we want or that we need. So we're stuck but now at this point, the only way that we can improve our situation is if we actually start to utilize the tools that we have now that we've crossed over to this point where newspapers and shit aren't really helpful anymore. We have to use our shit correctly. We can't just have people all over the internet just running amok, doing AI and fooling the old folks and talking Nazi shit and yeah, we have to have some sort of something, but we'll get there. We'll get there because right now we can't even get our feet together. um, Franklin, yeah.